All right, welcome back. So maybe she isn't running after all. Hillary Clinton now says it's, quote, out of the question that she'll make another presidential run in 2024. HRC telling the Financial Times that she fully expects President Joe Biden to be running for re-election. When the Financial Times asked her about 2024, she said, quote, no, out of the question. First of all, I expect Biden to run. He certainly intends to run. It would be very disruptive to challenge that. Also regarding 2024, she says that democracy is at stake and that Democrats must do whatever they can to stop President Trump. Clinton says, quote, I think if Trump can, he's going to run. Follow the money with Trump, she says. He's raised about $130 million. It's sitting in his bank account that he uses to travel around to fund organizing against elections, as she says. Let's welcome in our panel to discuss this. Daily Caller reporter and host of The Facts, Brianna Lehman. She's back with us. Also with us, Brett Winterble from 1110 a.m. WBT in Charlotte, North Carolina. Also with us today, former NCAA athlete who's also running for Congress in New Hampshire, Karoline Leavitt. Great to have you all with us today. Brianna, let's go to you. I mean, the answer isn't exactly Sherman-esque, but I guess this is as close as we're going to get from Hillary Clinton, is it?
I hope so. I mean, I think that her statement was pretty clear, and I think it's a welcoming sign for a lot of people because nobody wants to see Hillary Clinton run and lose again. And more importantly, I think she's a very bad person to have in the Democratic Party, and I think they know that. She's a very divisive person. She has a lot of scandals under her belt. And I think the interesting part of her statement is that she said that it is frightening to think of a Republican winning in 2024. You know what's frightening to me, John? Frightening are the gas prices, $6 a gallon. Frightening is the 8.6 inflation rate. So if that's frightening, then I don't know what she expects, because in 2022, in November, Republicans are going to take back Congress, and that will not be frightening.
Karoline, I think this coverage of 2024 says more about Joe Biden than it does about Hillary Clinton. You hear her and you hear some of the others just saying, oh, yeah, of course he's going to run in 2024. Like there's nothing to say he wouldn't, other than him falling off his bike or him looking lost off at the camera. So many pieces of video we have. I mean, I think it's highly doubtful that he runs in 2024. What's your take on this?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, John. Joe Biden can't ride a bike. He can't even formulate a proper sentence. So I think it's completely reasonable for the American people to question the strength of their commander-in-chief. Now, in my opinion, in terms of Hillary Clinton, she shouldn't even be able to walk free as an American citizen, never mind run for public office again. So I'm glad to hear that she's going to sit this one out, considering she just orchestrated the greatest political scandal in history by funding the entire Russian collusion hoax that tried to take down my former boss, President Trump. But this is a big problem for the Democrat Party, because who else has the name recognition and money that Hillary Clinton does, right? Let's be frank. Joe Biden there's no way he'll be able to run. Republicans are going to take back the White House in 2024, no doubt.
You notice how she really doesn't say, I don't want to run, Brett. She says, it would be disruptive to challenge that. So, again, not Sherman-esque, and leaving a little window there for her, I think.
Of course. Look, we don't know what kind of a wipeout we're going to see take place this November. That's going to change all of the calculus here. You have the Bernie wing of the party still very active. So she comes out and says, what is this, June the 20th of 2022? I'm not going to run for president in 2024. There's plenty of time for her to change her mind. And if she sees a big enough payday, she'll definitely jump in the race or maybe join The View.
Sorry, I had to laugh at that one. Let's move on to another topic for our discussion here today. The International Swimming Federation voted in favor of a new policy that will restrict most transgender women from competing in biologically female sports here. The new gender policy is set to take effect today, and it says male to female transgender athletes can only compete in women's categories if they transition before the age of 12. Brianna, what's your take on this?
Sanity has returned. I mean, I thought that all hope for common sense was lost. But luckily, this new decision reminds us that outside of woke America, there are people who do believe in science. And, for 2.5 years, we've heard from the follow the science crowd to follow the science. But they don't want to hear the science when it comes down to realizing that there are biological differences between men and women. There are reasons that we have men's swimming teams and women's swimming teams because they're not equal. It's not a fair advantage. And Leah Thomas, you have to remember when, Leah was competing for the men's team, Leah ranked 462, and now suddenly Leah is number one. Don't tell me that that doesn't have anything to do with the biological advantage that Leah possesses. And the fact that it took this long for these female athletes to get this kind of recognition of their concerns is very sad.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, too, considering that there have been so many reports about how much her teammates supported her, but then there was other reporting of people unwilling to go on the record about this. Karoline, do you expect other sports to follow suit? Do we have Karoline still? Do you expect other sports to follow suit, Karoline?
Yes, I'm here, John, and I certainly hope so. As you mentioned in your monologue, I am an NCAA athlete, former NCAA athlete myself. Now I'm running for Congress. I'm glad to see this governing body taking action. I would like to see Congress take action because all of these injustices, Leah Thompson and all of these other cases, these are direct violations of Title IX, a federal law. So when I'm elected, I will certainly take action to ensure that we're strengthening Title IX and that these injustices are not allowed to occur. And any organization, including our publicly funded colleges and universities that allow this to happen, do not receive one tax dollar from the American people.
It will be interesting, Brett, to see what Congress does, given that Title IX is already on the books and we do expect a GOP takeover come November.
Yeah, look, this is not going to be a priority, I think, for much of the GOP takeover, but certainly this is going to be something that's debated for a very long time. I would like to throw out a possible solution in all seriousness. As the father of a daughter and a son, why are we limiting this to just two different divisions, right? Male and female divisions. You could create an open division where it would be a free-for-all for everybody. If you're transgender, if you're somebody who's transitioning, if you're non-cisgender, any of that sort of stuff, then you could compete in that division and it could just be everybody for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the denial of opportunity for our young women out there who are being absolutely destroyed in a number of different sports.
I think the interesting thing, too, about the third way you proposed there, Brett, is that we would find out how many people are actually affected by this and if there are or not enough folks in this category to actually sustain this, which I think would tell us a lot about the situation as well. All right, panel, stand by. We got more coming back with Brianna Lehman, Brett Winterbull, and Karoline Leavitt as well coming up in our next hour. We'll keep the